AITA for telling people I'm a felon so they stop asking me about politics. So, this isn't a high-stakes situation. I just feel like I might be being an asshole. I'm a college student in Iowa. Wow, what a bummer. As I'm writing this, there's tons of people on campus talking about the caucus.
Caucus.
I thought it said cactus.
The cactus.
Just imagine a bunch of people walking around a caucus. Did you see the cactus yet? Yeah, it's prickly. Which is taking place tonight and about being registered to vote. I'm registered and plan on voting in the election. However, whenever someone I don't know talks to me about if I'm caucusing or who I'm voting for, I've started telling them I'm a convicted felon. I'm not. It came out as a panic response the first time, but it worked, so I've continued telling people who I don't know asking me about my political views that I have committed some sort of crime and therefore can't vote. I understand the whole quote-unquote civic duty and whatever, but I'm going to vote for who I want, and none of these people texting or calling are going to change my mind about it. So I don't think it matters if I tell them the truth, AITA, for lying about being a felon so people don't talk to me.
Okay, I've got to say, as someone who is like marginally politically active, oh my God, politicians are so fucking annoying. Like, I donated once to your campaign in 2017 and you're sending me multiple emails a day. I got a text from the ACLU today and I'm like, listen, I already have you on monthly subscription. Like, leave me alone.
They're so thirsty.
They're so thirsty. I'm already giving you my shit. You're wasting the $5 I donate to you on all these mailers back to me.
Yeah, I know. They are thirsty.
They're very annoying. So I understand where this guy's coming from.
I am curious, though, because to me, this reads a little bit, I'm a Trump supporter and I don't want to talk about it, which...
Well, I think that's the undercurrent. I think if you're like, well, if you're a liberal in a liberal place, which most colleges are, then there's not really a lot of shame.
You mean smart?
In like talking about who you're voting for. I apply the same logic to people on dating apps who put their political affiliation as moderate.
Yeah, scary. Very scary.
What's wrong with moderate?
Because moderate doesn't mean moderate. You know what I mean?
It's a coded way of saying that you're conservative, but you don't want to say it, which is annoying.
You wouldn't date a conservative?
In this day and age, no. If you're like a Romney/John McCain conservative, okay.
Yeah.
A Trump conservative, you probably think that I should probably die in a gas chamber.
What if you're a conservative who didn't vote for Trump? Is that okay?
I just think conservatism has changed so much in the last 5 years that like I don't.
You think so? I think there's still normal conservatives out there. You only hear about the Trumps, the Trumpies, the MAGAs.
Yeah, I think it would just kind of depend on the person and their reasons.
But would it be a deal breaker if you saw under their dating?
So that's the thing. It's like if they said conservative, that now kind of means like you are MAGA out and proud. Right, so I see why. So it's kind of like this. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a weird line to draw.
I just think that like things are a bit more dire now than they have been politically in the last few years. So I think that like while we don't want to have such hard lines because there should be some communication, there are tenets of the right that have become quite radical, and I don't even really want to like risk engaging with that type of thing.
I don't want to risk engaging with it either.
Yeah, so it's like, oh no, you're being prejudicial towards this person who's maybe has some different views than me, but it's like, I don't even want to dip my toe into that entire fucking water.
I'm going to come out to you guys. Ever since the coronavirus started happening, I've found myself thinking very conservative thoughts.
I'm not shocked.
Close the borders.
Yeah.
Well, let's lock down. Let's reduce the dependency on China. Let's tariffs. Let's change it.
Conservatism is usually pretty connected with fear-mongering, which is what you're falling prey to. You're also going out of your way to find scary information because you're crazy.
Yeah. Now that is true right there. I love scary information.
You love it. It's like you're lashing yourself. Like you're enjoying it.
No,
yeah, it's
you're
not
so
good.
Right. Why do I enjoy it so much?
I don't know. I think you want to feel like you're in control of your fear. You're like, if I get ahead and I know all the worst information, somehow I'm not going to be affected, but you are. It doesn't matter how.
Well, it's weird because I'm obsessed with the coronavirus and I know how to prevent it, and yet I will spend $0 on it. So weirdly,
$0.
Anyway, back to the situation at hand here.
Yes.
I mean, look, I don't think there's anything wrong with running around saying you're a felon. I
think it's funny that these college kids are like believing it.
Yeah.
Because you're like not that old. you
Be a
wouldn't have
white-collar
had
criminal.
that much time to have committed a felony and been convicted.
It's not that big of a deal. To be convicted and then have exited prison.
When do they think he managed to do this? And because, like, if you're only 18, like, presumably you would have been charged with, like, a lesser crime, maybe not charged as an adult.
Well,
I don't
isn't
know.
opening someone's mail a felony? There you go, right there. A little bit of mail.
Ever
Yeah,
gets
I guess
prosecuted for
technically.
that?
You never
though?
hear about the guy who does.
No.
What are you in for?
Maybe that's just a thing that we
I
say
hope
so
not.
nobody steals our Amazon packages.
Right.
I opened a catalog.
I think if you're, whenever I meet a young conservative, I'm like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like when I meet an older one, I'm like, yeah, you're like tired and you hate change and you're kind of losing your mind. But when I meet like a young conservative, I'm like, what is repressed that you're this way? You know what I mean? So I
can
don't
think
know.
of a
I'm a
few
little
things.
bit. I gotta push back on you guys. I feel like there are good people who are conservative, so that have different philosophies than you, but you would not find them objectionable. I think that a lot of the left equates the MAGA morons with conservatism, and those are not the same.
Yeah, but unfortunately, like, the poster child of conservatism is the MAGA people. So,
No, that's not true at all.
Danny, our president, is
Yeah,
Trump.
Trump is not a conservative. He's an animal
he's
that
a
has
Yahoo, but
but he's backed
the
by...
It's because there's only two parties, and I've said this for a long time. That's the reason that everyone views it this way. It's because there's only two parties. If there were
but
more
it's
parties,
kind of like, this is what's happening, so that's obviously why people think that.
yeah.
but
And, like, there aren't enough Republicans...
I'm trying to stress to you that there are a lot of Republicans that don't support Trump that may have voted for Trump, but they're not the kind of conservative that you guys are talking about, who's like, women should be in the kitchen. Like, it's not...
Yeah, no, there's definitely nuance.
Yeah, like I'll say this, like my ex is from the South and his moms, gay women, both voted for Trump.
Now I'm obsessed.
Yeah, it was an interesting dynamic. And one of them stands vehemently behind the choice, and the other one, as time has passed, has been like, ooh, this was a big mistake.
Yeah.
So the one who is like watching everything unfold and admitting that it was an error in judgment, I'm much more interested in having a conversation with that person. I'm not saying like, shun them all.
No.
I think that there's like classism involved. I think it's like a much more complicated issue than they're all like toothless assholes. But when it comes down to it, I don't really want to be in a room with you for more than half an hour. And that's just my personal preference.
Don't know.
Probably they
I
feel the same way about me.
I don't. My parents are both Republicans, and neither of them voted for Trump. You know, like I think that's a thing. You know, I guess
Sure.
I wouldn't want to spend time with my parents.
Yeah.
Except that
There
they're
you
my
go.
parents, so I have to. But
Yeah,
I mean-
they're paying your cell phone bill, so you know.
they do.
I've also like assigned that this is like a Trump person who's trying to hide it. It's just, why would you ever try to hide
We're
it?
not saying
I
like
don't
you're a fiscal conservative. Like
Yeah.
we don't think that's not what we're saying.
I don't know
like,
that that's. Well, but aren't what are caucuses? I'm very ignorant. How does that work again?
I don't know. I can't vote. I'm a
the
felon.
caucuses is what was going on in Iowa to determine.
But isn't that all the Democrats? So isn't it a Democrat thing?
I'm going to look this up.
You could be
Yeah,
right.
look it up. Pull it up, Jamie.
So maybe this is just like everyone's a Bernie bro and this guy's not.
Yes. I think that's what this is.
Yeah, that could be it.
It's also like he could just be really fucking annoyed of like, I don't know, Elizabeth Warren emailing him 60 times a day, which
Liz.
whatever.
What is it
I
this
get annoyed too.
time?
I had to unsubscribe from Kirsten Gillibrand. I was like, I don't need you. Stop emailing me.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is a burnout thing. So I do understand just wanting to take the conversation off the table.
DJS says, I say, not the asshole. Whatever gets the crazies off your case, and as long as you're actually voting your conscience, that's the most important thing.
So I actually think that he's kind of falling victim to the same trap that we are, which is like assuming that anyone who's asking who you're voting for is necessarily crazy, the same way that we assumed anyone who doesn't want to talk about politics is like a Trump supporting
is hiding
person.
it.
That's ridiculous.
When in reality, there's nothing in here to lead us to believe that people are harassing him about it.
I don't particularly enjoy talking about politics. Does that make me...
I just don't like to think about it, which is terrible, but like, I told Danny was like trying to get me to be scared about the coronavirus. And I'm like, I'm scared about like 65 different political things a day. So like, I don't have room in my brain for the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I feel about it.
The coronavirus doesn't give a fuck what you think about it.
And that's fine. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, if it comes for me, it'll come for me. And no amount of me being afraid is going to like make it not.
Yeah.
That's true.
I agree.
Thank you.
What's the deal with Iowa? Hit it with the facts.
Okay, so I don't know that I'm being accurate here, but in the U.S. voting system, there are two rounds in a
the criminal
world.
justice system.
God, I love that
There are
show.
two separate but equally important. Okay.
I love it. There are
Two
two
separate.
rounds of voting, generally every 2 and 4 years. First, a primary or a caucus is held. During those, voters pick a party nominee. For example, in a Democratic primary, voters would pick among Democratic candidates for office.
Wait, can you look this up? Do you have to be registered to a certain party to vote in the primary?
No, Iowa is the Democrat one. Type in Iowa
Okay, but what,
caucuses,
Danny-
and it's going to say Democrat.
Danny, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying
Well, I'm saying
is-
you guys are wrong. You guys
Dan-
are factually wrong. I'm pretty sure you are.
Okay, listen, here's what I'm saying. In New York, for example, you cannot
Yeah.
vote in the Democratic primary if you're not registered as a Democrat.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if, for instance, this guy's not registered as a Democrat, people are asking him who he's caucusing, this could come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's
So,
trying
like,
to hide
before you cut
something.
me off, like, I'm stupid, you could have let me finish.
Yeah.
Well, wait, no, I think I'm right because it's the Iowa caucuses, and that's why it's a big
He's
thing.
saying he's registered and planning on voting in the election.
Yeah.
So he could still- We're not necessarily right, but there is a scenario in which we could have been right.
It's one of two options. Number one, he's a conservative or a Trump supporter, and he's surrounded by liberals and he wants to dodge it. The second scenario is that he's just burnt out on politics and no longer wants to talk about it.
I kind of think if he was a Trump supporter, he wouldn't go around telling people he was a convicted felon and like couldn't vote.
Yeah.
Actually, that is the best point you made so far. If he was a Trump supporter, they love to tell the libs off.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
They just wouldn't want to be associated with felons, I'm assuming, because they think
Yeah.
they're better than that.
So an old roommate of mine went to a wedding and she met a dude and she banged him at the wedding and they had a great time.
Hot.
Give it a few weeks. Turns out he's a Trump supporter.
You hate to hear it.
Okay. And he kind of hit her with the like, I just like family values, blah, 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 blah. You know, I believe in women's rights, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, hilarious. But I do think that every Trump supporter is not necessarily this cartoonish person that you're talking about. I think there are some people who appear, you know, thoughtful or normal. You know what I mean? Like you're saying that they're going to be like a MAGA for life. They're not all like that, especially young Trump supporters. I think that they're.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't buy. I don't.
What
buy
don't
that.
you buy?
I think this guy is a Democrat and he's sick. He's like not a Bernie bro or whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter because the second
It
top
doesn't matter.
comment,
Yeah.
Sandra B writes, YTA, just own it and say you don't want to talk politics. Something like this could bite you in the ass one day. No.
But I'm like,
right?
could it though? Like, no. I mean,
It's ridiculous.
unless like a weird, I mean, he is on a college campus. So, and they're in Iowa, so there's not a lot of people. So, like, maybe someone spreads this rumor that he like murdered someone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
But it's like, no, this is not going to come back and haunt your job prospects. They would
No.
run a background
Is
check.
it true? Did you tell someone 10 years ago at the Iowa caucus time that you were a criminal?
I mean,
Yeah.
I stole 10 grand of weed from someone in college. And
That's
I still
awesome.
am
Did you
totally
really?
fine. Yeah. Mhm.
That's sick.
Yeah.
And what you sold it?
Yeah.
Wow, 10 grand. That's like grand larceny or some
It
shit.
is.
But it's weed, so how does that work? I never know.
It works in that you get away with it.
Yeah, if you
Yes.
steal something illegal from someone, they can't do shit. Or they can kill
Exactly.
you. You could be killed.
That's what
now.
always was what would happen on weeds. Like when they would, you know,
Yeah.
someone would steal their stash. They're like, well, we're fucked now. We just have to kill them.
Turns out if you steal from rich kids, no one ever gets in your
Oh,
business.
like serious rich kids? Hell yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great. Andrew P. writes, I mean, I feel like you could use your words and say you'd rather not discuss your political views, you know, like an adult. But no, that
People
won't
don't
work 'cause
take
they'll
that.
double down.
Yeah.
Or these like ACLU automatic text things like they're just like, oh, what's that? You want 65 Bernie facts a day? Cool, subscribed.
Yeah.
Like
I
they
feel
do
like
not.
a good one is to just be like, I'm actually registered in a different state because they will.
Oh, I do
jump
that shit
off
all the
you.
time. People are like, I come off the subway. Are you registered to vote in Astoria? And I'm like, yeah, I'm already registered. Leave me alone. I'm not, but I
Yeah.
should be, but it's fine.
Yeah. Tell them you're
I'm registered
Canadian.
in Long Island for the record.
Nonetheless, I don't think this is an asshole move. I mean, I did leave a Facebook comment. I don't like, I think it's ridiculous.
I didn't understand your comment, so actually I'm glad that you
let's
brought
talk
it up.
about it.
Cool.
I think it's ridiculous that felons can't vote. I mean, I think you should be allowed to vote as a felon. I think, sure, there are some situations where like a felon is a sociopath or something like that, and then maybe we might not want them to vote. But I think that you should just, I think it's crazy to remove someone's ability to vote because they committed a felony. They stole something 3 times. Now they can't vote? No.
I did agree with you. Also, certain states, it's not like always so cut and dry. Iowa is one of those states that does revoke your rights. Sometimes it's like once you get out of jail, you're good. Whatever. I just didn't think it was like material to if the guy was the asshole or not, which is why I commented. I was like, then you should just take it up with Iowa lawmakers. I don't understand.
I literally say in the comment, am I the asshole for making an irrelevant comment? I definitely call myself
You said
out.
that?
Yes.
I don't think I read that initially. Did you add it later?
The comment.
I think you added it after the fact.
It was unedited.
I don't believe that. I actually screenshotted it and sent it to my friend. Let's see.
You screenshotted my comment.
Yeah,
Sent
because
it
I was
to
like,
your
am I
friend?
missing something or is this not material at all?
I literally legit called
Let's
myself
see,
out.
let's
Man,
see.
I'm going to be so fucked.
Yeah, you got screenshotted.
Maybe I did edit it. Now I don't know, How would I know?
I don't know.
You
got in trouble.
Wow, there's a lot of looking stuff up for this situation.
Tuffy here. I see very little negative impact, but I don't like the idea that you're reinforcing the notion that felons can't vote and shouldn't vote. I've always thought this was a ridiculous law. If you killed someone, you should be in prison for some time, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't get a say in the leadership of this country. The notion that a murderer, and of course every criminal below murderer, is some kind of fundamentally corrupt person whose views should not be incorporated into the election is some insane puritanical nonsense. That said, no assholes here. Oh yeah, also I should be arrested for not really responding to the situation at all. I am a felon.
Sarah, YTA to you. But on the issue of AITA for telling people I'm a felon so they stop asking me about politics, I think we agree that even if he's a MAGA and you guys are like, oh, man, every Republican's evil, he is nonetheless
It's not what my voice sounds
a
like.
big fat, no assholes here.
Yeah, I said no assholes here.
Yeah, I said no assholes here.